Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Animation Analysis. As always, I'm Sam,
Good morning. My name is Immortal.
and today we actually have a guest here. Um, Me and Immortal actually aren't that well versed in either Skyrim or Dark Souls, so we happen to have a friend here that knows a lot more. Care to introduce yourself?
Bow down, peasants, for your warlord has arrived. And I happen to know a fair bit about the Elder Scrolls Skyrim and the legendary Dark Souls series. In fact, I happen to be a bit of an avid fan of both series myself.
Did you get banned from Elden Ring?
No, that was Hone, and Hone's a freaking idiot.
Yeah, that's another friend. Right? But yeah, for this we brought in a friend of ours, WarLord. Um, for this, as it is kind of obvious by the title, we're going to be analyzing the animation for Dragonborn versus Chosen Undead, which ended up.
You were so close to saying Dragon Ball, weren't you?
Maybe it's like this was one of the episodes. As we mentioned, me and Immortal have like minimal knowledge going into this. It turned out to be like a good episode overall. So, without further ado, let's get into the episode.
Go and stop this fool who would let the flame burn the age of humans to ashes. The Ancients of Dark will do anything to snuff out the light. Save us, chosen undead.
Okay, starting off, even though I have minimal knowledge, I really like the setup they went with for this.
I agree. The introduction to this fight was absolutely perfection. I love all the little neat little references. Yeah, I love all the neat little references they pointed out. Yeah, it's pretty good. I loved it a lot. Very, very true to the nature of both respective series as well, which is very nice.
Oh, going on, I also want to mention, I really like the way it looks. Like, yeah, Dragonborn and Chosen Undead's models aren't like super high definition or anything, but they still look relatively good. I also really like, you can see the reflection of Dragonborn in Chosen Undead's helmet here.
I also love how very photogenic the Chosen Undead hero looks as well. It just looks really crisp and clean there. Same for Dragonborn, actually.
Save us, chosen undead.
Okay. Another thing I want to bring up, the sword fighting here kind of looks a little janky. Like, it's not as smooth compared to some of the other 3D episodes they've done. But I feel that just kind of adds to the feeling of the fight, what fight they're trying to go for here.
To be fair, in regards to the animation, I think they were trying to replicate how somewhat janky it was in the games they're both from as well. So I think it kind of...
Yeah, because both Dark Souls and Skyrim are pretty old. I mean, not by pretty old, like over a decade ago. Yeah.
Yeah, they are fairly oldish games. The Elder Scrolls as a whole is probably a lot older than Dark Souls. Now that I think about it.
Oh, and
Yeah, this.
I love this part. Like the fact, even though even if you have minimal knowledge on Dark Souls or anything related, everyone knows about the infamous dodge roll tactic for Dark Souls, and the fact they actually animated it.
It is beautiful.
Can I say what I find really funny is that the dodge roll animation is more smoother than the sword fight earlier.
It's like they knew.
Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's so fucking weird. But it's so funny as well.
Yeah, like, Dragonborn also knows it looks a little floaty as he tries attacking Chosen Undead, and I think it just adds to the comedy.
Yeah.
And then, hammer time.
Smokes hammer!
Of course, they had to do this reference.
Of course, they had to make the arrow to the knee joke. they really got like both the dodge roll and the arrow to the knee jokes out of the way first to give us more of like actual more serious fighting as it goes on.
If I make a joke,
genuinely kind of surprised the arrow and the knee joke wasn't in the analysis.
Probably.
I mean,
maybe
I was gonna make a little.
So.
I was also gonna say, I used to be a death battle researcher like you until I took an arrow to the knee.
Yeah, I can tell you, a couple of friends of ours definitely felt like that. I also just love how he takes out the arrow, even though you can't see his expression, you can tell he probably looks a little bit annoyed there.
Like, damn it, you had to get in my good knee. You had to get in my good knee, you bitch.
So in
I'm gonna make you
response,
feel your
bigger
life.
bow with bigger arrows.
Fun fact about that weapon in particular, it's actually wielded by giants in Dark Souls. It's ridiculously powerful, and if you know anything about Dark Souls, for anyone who's watching this, you know how strong giants are. They are pretty darn powerful dudes, to the point where they can almost one-shot you. Those are practically the size of fucking javelins. Or ballista size, actually.
I really like the way they did the time dilation here. It's like the slight slowdown here before it speeds up as the color returns.
Oh yeah,
it's really good. I like that a lot. Very good detail. Oh no, I died. Psych.
Yeah, I really like how the first flame is prominent throughout this entire fight. Like really adds like the background of the battle.
It also really ties into the fact that every time the chosen undead dies in the game, they always respawn back at the last bonfire they lit up. And so, with the first flame technically being the last bonfire they just lit up, it would make sense they'll just respawn there.
Okay, and here I think the sword fighting here got better like compared to earlier. Because you get the strikes feel much heavier, and the dynamic camera action hides a lot of the jank.
It really
this just goes off as like a more satisfying, like beatdown.
Oh yeah.
You know what I think would have been really funny? What if, I think it would be funny if he tried dodge rolling once, but then got obliterated anyway.
Yeah, that's another thing that I felt would have been really perfect to show up in that fight. Because it would have also been
the dodge roll is the meme tactic, but it doesn't always work, yeah?
See, you could dodge roll nearly everything in Dark Souls, like even the sequel games. But there's still a chance you could still get pretty messed up by whatever is attacking you. Like, I've seen horror stories of people trying to dodge roll Dark Eater Medea's attacks, and they still get whacked.
Oh, the fire effect looks really nice here. And
it's very beautiful.
I think there's a bit of color here too, because like the color of the flames like merges into like the chosen undead being obliterated there. It's a nice color synergy.
And it also kind of looks like when he got burnt by the dragon, and considering how he was dying, it looked like the ashes were actually scattering, which I think looks really beautiful.
Yeah, that's the thing I want to say. Chosen Undead's various like just going into ashes every time he dies looks really good in this fight.
kind of wish the angle of that was skewed a bit better because it just goes through the jaw and not the actual like brain.
Yeah, I think that would. Yeah.
Yeah, if you go back a real so yeah, as you can see, it does look like it would look like the dragon would still be alive from that, because if, as Immortal pointed out,
more pissed off, but it'd still be.
Yeah, like
so like maybe it went for like, I guess, like, let me pause right at the moment it gets it again. Like if maybe it aimed a little more to like the throat and then into the brain, I think that would have looked better.
Yeah, but they ended up just doing it like that, and at worst, that's really going to do is really just stop the dragon from just, closing its mouth. Like, but it'll probably piss it
still, but yeah.
Yeah, but it'll probably melt through I would assume the arrow, or as I like to call it, a javelin or ballista round, whichever works. But yeah.
I also like him pulling back, like pulling out that bow again instead of it just being one of those one and done type things.
I like how he's like, right after he dies, it's like, okay, one problem out of the way. He just tosses the bow aside.
It's like, alright, I dealt with a dragon, you're next, motherfucker.
Oh, and I really like this here.
One of my favorite scenes.
Dragon
runs up, catches the lightning.
And like that. Like, holy crap, that's awesome.
I believe that whole segment they did there is a reference to a scene from Mad Max Fury Road as well, because there is a war boy who did something similar with 2 explosive javelins, and he jumped right towards the vehicle and slammed both of them into the vehicle and blew it up along with himself. That's exactly what it's referencing, and I think that is. Yeah, I noticed that right out of the gate, and I thought to myself, wait, that looks like something out of Mad Max. So it looks pretty cool. And I was very pleased to see that, actually.
Interesting.
Like, after this, I will show you what I mean.
I like how also that...
And then, the best part of the fight.
I also like, it doesn't completely destroy it, but you can see, like, chunks of the building are falling off there.
Oh, yeah. It's done a fair bit of damage to the building, like, which I think is very nice. I'm gonna call
back to, like, another fight, like, way back to, like, Black Adam versus Apocalypse, like, when, they made the crater, and, like, the buildings were falling into the crater were really well done. It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
And then the best part of the fight.
The Moonlit Greatsword. One of the most legendary Dark Souls weapons ever. And Dawnbreaker, the weapon designed to kill undead in the Elder Scrolls.
It's a fitting choice of weapon in this part. And...
Also, go back to the bit where the Chosen Undead gets his Moonlit Greatsword.
Yeah, it's a reference to Dark Souls box art.
Nope. There. It's actually a reference to a Bloodborne boss, actually.
Oh, really?
Yes. See, I believe the Bloodborne boss was called Ludwig the Ascended or something like that. And he basically pulls out the Moonlit Greatsword and holds it in a similar position to what the Chosen Undead is doing right now.
Oh, that's cool. You know, I'm really glad we brought you in on this. Me and Immortal would have not picked up on any of this stuff.
I did ask to join in.
Yeah, this is probably my favorite segment of the fight.
Like,
I agree.
It's a similar case to like Link versus Cloud's rematch, where like Dragonborn's hits are less heavy, but you can feel the speed. But then you Chosen Undead sword here, you can feel the weight behind the slashes.
Yeah, and also the Moonlit Greatsword has honestly one of the most beautifulest attack animations I have ever seen in a video game. It's so powerful, and the fact it's a prominent weapon throughout the entire Soulsborne series as well. I love that
You
so
can
much.
feel the weight behind those swings.
Yeah, that's like, it's not like the sword beams from like Legend of Zelda or other sword blast characters. Like it's just like you can hear it. Like the sound effect when he does the swinging is great too.
I should also mention that the sheer impact and the weight of the weapon itself really adds onto the sound effects of the swings too. So, you might not be able to hold it yourself, but you can actually feel the weight, and I like that.
Absolutely.
It's just beautiful. Ah, yes.
No talking.
No shouting for you.
I love how he actually grabs at his throat for it. It's like, wait a sec.
Oh no, I can't shout. I can't shout. Oh no.
I like how the strikes from the swords, it's not a completely deafened scene, they're just slightly muted. Like you can still barely hear them, but it really adds to it instead of being completely silent.
In this scene, I love that so much.
And when the music just slowly comes back in.
Prepare to die.
Oh. Dude, play that again. Play that again.
Prepare to die.
I love this. Like, look at how, like, he gets stabbed through the chest again, and he draws his blade.
Yeah.
But instead of dying, it's like, you can see, like, Dragonborn trying to pull the blade out. No, he grabs it, pulls him in closer, and grabs him by the throat as the music kicks in.
And just starts choking him. It's just crazy.
And
then
it's so good.
It's not just the music that kicks in. If you look at the fire, it goes from muted colors to the more regular orange colors. Like the colors just coming back in. Like this is such a well choreographed part of the fight.
It's beautiful.
Prepare to die.
Fun fact about that quote as well. Did you know that in one of the editions of Dark Souls, there's actually an edition of it called Prepare to Die Edition?
Oh.
Fitting.
Yeah.
That makes sense from what I've heard about Dark Souls.
Yeah. Literally one of the most popular jokes of Dark Souls is the fact that the big one being is you just need to prepare to die because it's a crushingly difficult
hard game. Yeah, I know.
It's notorious for its difficulty. Like if you're gonna go into Dark Souls, you better pucker your asshole, sunshine. You're not in for a fun time.
So I forgot to bring this up, but the dragon just disappears.
I think it's probably just a regular like enemy thing where it's like the bodies just like disintegrate afterwards or something. I mean, considering we already had chosen
it genuinely disappears between shots when it does.
I think it might be a similar thing to like since Chosen did it already just disintegrated multiple times in the fight. It kind of fits. But yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that sword's right through the neck.
And we have to bear in mind that the weapon that the Dragonborn is holding is called the Dawnbreaker, and it's a weapon designed to basically mess up undead. But the chosen undead being, well, a very unique case in this scenario, it's very interesting to see, and you can clearly see it's working.
Yeah, and I like how it's also not like he's not like giving up here or anything. He's not like slumped over. No, he has a hand on Dragonborn's head there.
Yeah, it's literally the representation of everyone who's ever played Dark Souls. The tenacity that all the Dark Souls players have when they are trying to fight a really tough enemy and they do that much damage to them. It's like, come here, you blow bastard!
It's such a cool visual.
It's beautiful.
Oh yeah, if you thought the like dragon flame effects were good, like this flaming tornado here from the first flame, that's amazing.
Now make it out of flowing water.
Just like. disperses it with his iconic shout right there.
Let true dark be cast upon the world. Our Lord hath returned. KO!
I really like how they handled that there. It's not like the winner, you know, it's a real victory. Because like from what I'm gathering, the Dragonborn was manipulated here. Yeah.
Yes, it's clearly shown it's manipulated. See, in Dark Souls, there are these two serpents. One is telling one person to link the fires. The other one is basically saying, right, we don't want this thing to keep continuing, so you need to snuff out the first flame. So it's clear that the one that wants to snuff out the first flame has called upon the Dragonborn to basically do that, snuff out the first flame. Whereas the other one is telling the Chosen Undead to keep the fire lit up. So it is reason to believe that the Dragonborn was in fact manipulated into killing the Chosen Undead and snuffing out the first flame.
That's really well done for like a fight story. I like that a lot. Okay.
And thus, it would also then usher in the Eternal Age of Darkness. But in doing so, the Dragonborn may end up becoming a new god in this scenario, who is okay with people being immortalized and what have you.
That's cool. Okay, so what frame do we leave it on as to talk about?
I think you should go with that frame.
Which frame?
Yeah, that one right there. That one.
I hate you. Just.
You absolute ass.
I'm gonna go with arrow to the knee.
Yes. Oh wait, there was one other detail I forgot to mention about this whole thing.
Yeah.
So another meme about Dark Souls running around is whenever the male character dies, they always make like the most sexual sounding moans you'll ever hear. It's so weird but funny at the same time. Like you heard him just like grunt. It doesn't sound like a pain grunt. It's like he's enjoying it. It's like he's been penetrated and he's like, ooh, that's the next
one.
one.
Is this reminiscent of what they say of Dark Souls players just constantly playing the game even though they keep dying?
Yeah. They so much as see the phrase, you died, the next noise you hear is,
Okay, so, overall, I think this was I'm surprised, like, just how good the fight turned out. Like, this was a really good episode.
It's a really big step up from the previous one, I'll say that.
Yeah, it's like, this was another, like, case of, like, Sauron versus Lich King for me. I wasn't expecting them to do too much for it, but then it's like, wow, this ended up being really, really cool.
I honestly think this is, even though I don't really watch much Death Battle anymore for my own personal reasons, there are still some matches that do turn up every now and again that catch my interest. The previously mentioned Sauron versus Arthas was one of them, and this one, Dragonborn versus Chosen Undead, was another one I was very interested in because, well, it's from franchises that not many people actually see being represented very much, and as not only a fan of Lord of the Rings, World of Warcraft, Skyrim, and Dark Souls, this has honestly been really good stuff. I very much enjoyed this fight. It was a fun episode to watch. It was very, very good to see the fight animations. I loved all the little references they did in there. It was honestly, chef's kiss. 10 out of 10. I would watch again.
That's the thing I gotta agree with. Like, as fun as Death Battle is for like versus debaters, I always think that the episode should appeal more to the ones that the non-versus fans that are just fans of the franchise itself. So if it appeals to someone that's a huge fan of it but doesn't really do versus stuff, I think the episode does a good job.
Like, whether you know Skyrim or Dark Souls or you don't know them at all, this is an episode I would gladly tell anyone to just straight up watch and not give a damn about what the results are. Just watch it for the sake of watching the fight. It's so freaking good. I dare say this is honestly one of my favorite fights. It didn't top Sauron versus Arthas for me personally. That's personal bias talking, by the way.
Yeah, I'll agree there. I think Sauron versus Lich King I also like more because of like because like that's the one small complaint I kind of have is like there's a noticeable lack of like overall voice acting for this fight. There is some here and there, but it's not to the like dialogue extent that we got for Sauron versus Lich King.
But what you have to bear in mind is in regards to
there are silent pro tags, yeah.
Yeah, well, silent pro tag to an extent. If you,
I guess I compare it kind of like Byleth from Three Houses, maybe.
Something like that. I don't know. I've never played Three Houses to make the comparison.
Anyways, but yeah, aside from that,
and then there's me who thinks that this is just straight up better than Sauron versus Lich King.
I know it's always up to opinion. And and before we,
and opinions are objectively correct.
Yeah. One more thing we gotta mention. Got the music. Holy crap!
Oh my fucking god! This might be just one of my favorite tracks. Period.
I have no words that can justify how beautiful and just pure. It's just pure eargasm to the ears.
Yeah,
it's
Fireborn
beautiful.
was it's such a good like. Not only is it like Brandon, but he also got like a bunch of like both like some of the professional musicians he's worked with and several of the fans in the community to sing for the choir. So like seeing it as like a huge the track as a huge community effort also just bumps up the already amazing track for me.
And like I said, this entire episode is just chef's kiss. 10 out of 10. Would watch again.
Superb.
Yeah, I'm honestly inclined to give this one a 10 out of 10 too. Like this is an amazing episode.
It
some
hits
thoughts,
all the
some
right.
jank, but I really enjoyed myself.
It hits all the right spots. It hits every nail on the head so well, and it makes every sort of little reference in there, including a Mad Max reference, which I've got to show you guys, by the way.
Yeah, you can show us after recording. But like, like that's another thing I gotta say. Like, if this episode appeals to both people that are huge fans of the show and that are huge fans of both Dark Souls and Skyrim, and also the people that don't know much about it, I think the episode just absolutely nailed its job well.
Absolutely, just straight up. If you haven't watched it already, go do it now. Just get off this video and go do it. Go do it right now.
Okay, but first, why would people be watching this video instead of the death battle itself?
That's a good point.
Well, that's in case they only just wanted to see the research and stuff like that. If they're that nerdy about it.
Anyways, but yeah. So before we finish things off, let's talk about that next time.
Death battles before anyone else, so don't miss out.
I don't know why, but the text is getting smaller. The text is... Remember when the text used to, like, take up the entire side of the screen? It just keeps getting smaller.
Okay, so... I just want to say, when I first watched this fight, like, on my own, I audibly said out loud, "Who the fuck is that?" when I saw Killua's opponent. Because they don't list the series.
So wait, you knew who Killua was, but you didn't know Misaka?
Yeah, I know who Killua is.
Okay.
It's not like fucking Hunter x Hunter is very obscure.
Yeah,
I may not know all the details, but I still know some of the characters.
Yeah, like...
For Misaka, they just show some clips, they don't even give a series. I'm like, wait, who the fuck is this?
Yeah, I think the problem there is, like, they couldn't fit in the series because the series title is pretty long, A Certain Magical Index. They could have probably stuck it in. Maybe that's why the text is so small. They were originally going to put in the series list, but then for some reason decided, nah.
I mean, I can understand why. But, yeah. That's all I'm just going to say on that one.
Something that really annoyed me for the preview, though, is if you notice here, they have subtitle... They have, I think, from what a friend said...
No!
I think a friend said that's Italian. I might be wrong, but They just took this from a Killua. I think they took it from like a Killua AMV for the footage, and they didn't crop it out properly.
Oh my god! Screw it, Death Battle. What are you doing, boys? You all messed it up. You don't.
I want to ask.
You didn't notice?
I want to ask: is this better or worse than when they ripped Castlevania footage from Kiss Anime?
Oh my god, I remember. No, I can tell you what's worse. I can tell you what's worse.
Quickly, Warlord. In Ganon vs. Dracula, in the analysis for Dracula, you can see in the corner there's a Kiss Anime watermark for some of the Castlevania anime footage.
I did not notice that. I'll have to rewatch it again just to see that. What the
And if you want to, actually, I know what's absolutely worse. Jem told me about this, but for Deku versus Asta, every single one of the Black Clover clips come from AI 4K scaled videos.
Oh god.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's why the footage looks so much ridiculously smoother.
No.
Anyways, but with that said, we'll wrap things up here. Thanks for joining us on this war.
Yeah, no worries. If you ever need like need me around for like something you guys are not aware of, like, just give me a buzz or something, and I'll gladly jump in.
I'll keep it in mind.
All right, we'll invite you for the inevitable Minecraft episode.
I don't know. Shut up! I don't know jack shit about Minecraft.
Too bad.
All I know is that you mine stuff and you craft stuff. It's as simple as that.
Anyways, thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next time. Bye.
In a bit,
Have a good one.
nerds.